In my opinion, in this chapter, I think we've done some pretty cool things. Especially, and I mean especially, if you're not really that acquainted with cascading style sheets, you have got to see the power here. You have got to see the organization and the possibilities. I absolutely love cascading style sheets. So with that said, let's kick it up a notch. Let's do something else. Let's create a compound selector. Compound selectors work with this idea of nesting and the additional idea of a parent and a child and the inherit and all that stuff that goes on when you start dealing with code. But there's a good way to visualize it here. So I'm going to introduce one more thing that I'm kind of saving for the next chapter. They're the div statements, but I want to put one more in here because I think it's going to help you digest this. We have two buttons up here in the Layout tab. One is to insert a div and one is to draw a div. I want you to select all of the text in that first paragraph, all of it from the word head to external, and click this button right here. Leave that alone, wrap around selections what we want, ignore class, go to ID and give it a name. Name it anything you want to. I'm going to go div1 because that makes sense. It's the first one. Click OK. Let's do the same thing here. Div2. And one more. Repetition is just wonderful to work with. And we'll call that div3. Why am I doing this? What's a compound selector? Well, let's put it this way. I need to change the color of the text in just this paragraph from red to something else, for whatever reason. The others have to stay the same. If I come over here to our selector that we made that text red and change it, it's all going to go to a different color. Say blue. It's all going to go blue. What I need to do is only change the text if it meets certain criteria. So with that said, we made these divs, which means this text is nested inside something we gave a name, and we can use that name to control what we change. Get it? Get in this paragraph anywhere you want to and just click in the red. I don't care. Just click in there somewhere. Now go to your CSS style panel and click the new button right down here. Notice this has changed because we're in a nested situation. It's saying compound based on your selection. Leave that alone and look what it wrote. Div2, P statement, HTML code. This selector name will apply your rule, the one we're about to make, to all HTML elements, but only if they're in here within a P statement. That's exactly what we want. Now, you can get less specific, or you can get more specific to a point, but that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Click OK. We'll do one thing. You'll get the idea. Let's just change the color. Now, watch what happens when I click OK. The only area it changes is the area within Div2. Compound selections work with this nested idea. Parent, child, child. You get it? But it's a great way to even add more control to what you're doing. As you add these containers, you can then control what goes on in the containers. Compound selectors. They are awesome in their power. And just one more reason why cascading style sheets are probably the best thing since sliced bread.